This is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Now y'all listen, it's getting serious out here. People are dragging Black Americans into everything. Things that don't have anything to do with us. Now this is from the New York Post. This man right here is a New York University professor. He's a Jewish professor. And here he goes. Now he's talking about the students at Columbia University that have basically set up a tent city. This was a few days ago. And they are protesting the war that's going on in Gaza between Israel and Hamas. And now Iran has gotten in it, so it's heating up over there. And on the Columbia campus, the students are being very defiant. They're either Palestinian students or Palestinian sympathizers. And they've just shut that campus down. I mean, they're up there stepping and strolling and doing all kinds of stuff up there. Just totally disrespecting the campus protocol. So this professor says, if I said lynch the blacks or burn the gays, I'd never work again. Now neither blacks nor gays are directly involved in this. This is about Palestinian students and Palestinian sympathizers. This is a protest against what Israel is doing in Gaza. This does not have anything to do with Black Americans, and Black Americans are not center stage in that protest. I don't know whether to be flattered that people always have us on their minds, or offended that people always have us on their minds. A Jewish NYU professor tore into anti-Israel student protesters, calling out the double standard that allows them to spread anti-Semitism when hate spread about other groups would never be tolerated. This is what you call a false equivalency. Black people demonstrating against the treatment they're getting from their government has nothing to do with those students on Columbia's campus demonstrating about what's going on in Israel. We demonstrate about what's going on in our country against us, that we can document, that we can say, yeah, this is what happened. We don't really know what's going on over there in Israel. He's comparing two things that don't have anything to do with each other. He continued, I can tell you, if I went into the NYU square with a white hood on and said, lynch the blacks or burn the gays, my ID would be shut off by that night. Scott Galloway, an NYU STEM School of Business professor, told MSNBC on Tuesday. My feeling is that any injustice should be able to stand on its own. If you make a claim about somebody doing something against you that's unjust or unfair, that ought to stand on its own. You shouldn't have to bring somebody else in to say, well, if they did that to them, this is what you would do. I would just stick to my claim, I think. I believe your argument is stronger when you just stick to your point. Because if you've got to bring somebody else in to prove what's been done against you is wrong, then you've lost the argument. He's still ranting. He says, I would never work in academia again. There would be no need for the words context or nuance. I wouldn't be protected by the First Amendment or free speech. Well, I disagree with that. If you wanna march as a Ku Klux Klansman, all you gotta do is get a permit. They march all the time. But if you're working at an institution where they say we're not gonna have any Klan marching around here, then that has nothing to do with this free speech. That has to do with the policy of that university. The Klan, the Nazis, the neo-Nazis, and any other terrorist group can march in this country if they get a permit. They do have freedom of speech and they have First Amendment rights. But if you want to work, then you follow those people's rules. Black people who work as college professors don't get out and protest against the policies on those campuses and violate the policies of those campuses. So I don't even know what he's talking about. His commentary comes as anti-Israel protests roll on at NYU and other college campuses in both the Big Apple and across the nation, disrupting classes with clashes between pro-Palestine and pro-Israel students and leading to the arrests of over 130 NYU students on Monday. See, I didn't even realize they were having that protest at NYU. I thought he was talking about at Columbia. But Columbia has had to call the New York City police in on their students. And I think what this man is doing is kind of underhanded because he's comparing what those students are doing on that campus with black protesters when something comes up that we protest against. And to me, in an underhanded kind of way, he's trying to turn the nation's sentiments against those students. Because anytime you bring black people in it, that's all about trying to turn the country against black people. So by turning them into black people, I guess he's hoping to turn the nation's sentiments against them. I don't think it's going to work. Galloway attributed this tolerance for anti-Semitism to several things, including students being too easily manipulated by anti-Israel content on TikTok. If you look at TikTok, there are 52 videos that are pro-Hamas or pro-Palestine for every one served on Israel, he said. So now he's saying the children are being brainwashed by TikTok. Galloway said he also thinks students on campus are incorrectly conflating the civil rights movement with the ongoing war in Gaza. Oh gee, I wonder why. NYU Professor Scott Galloway blamed China for anti-Israel protests on college campuses on Morning Joe. He said the same thing about the TikTok videos on Morning Joe. So he's convinced that these students don't have a mind of their own, but they're listening to other people who are listening to the Chinese, and that's where they're getting their ideas and their spirit of protest. He noted students may have digressed because of a theory promoted by NYU professors is that the easiest way to identify oppressors is how white and how rich they are. Fairly or unfairly, Israel is seen as ground zero for whiteness and how wealthy they are, he added. I never thought of Israel as being ground zero for wealth or whiteness. We see enough of that here, but there are a lot of people in the United States that might be white, but they're definitely not wealthy. These are wealthy white kids with some others thrown in, exercising their right to speak out against whatever they want to speak out against, because absolutely you do have the right to protest against governmental policies in the United States. They are protesting all over New York and other parts of the country. Some of them have been arrested, but we haven't heard about anybody being tased, beaten, or shot. So the fact that he wants to drag black people into it, I think, is supposed to turn the country or turn somebody against these students. But the very people that they want to turn against these students is these students' parents. These are not black people. These are wealthy white kids and probably Middle Eastern kids and Chinese. I've seen Chinese students in these demonstrations. So I still think that's why he tries to drag black people in. He's going to compare them to black people. So basically saying these are black people out here. Well, I beg to differ. But anyway, y'all, we got dragged into it, living rent-free in somebody else's head, trying to make a point by dragging black people into it. But this time, I just don't think it's going to work. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about the video. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share the video. And as always, have a great day.